I guess I'll just start talking. I'm not really sure how this works or if talking's even going to help, but here goes. My whole world turned upside down and I can't stop crying. Sad is a dumb word. If I say I'm sad, that doesn't describe this crushing pain that I feel. You can be sad that they don't make your shade of lipstick anymore, but how can that be the same? How can that be the same word that we use when we say our partner is dead? That they ended their life and now my life feels like I'm in some horror movie that I can't turn off. That you saw them struggle daily and no matter how much you tried, you couldn't help them. And then, in the night, I feel like I'm being swallowed up by the pain. Who would have guessed grief could be worse than any physical pain I've ever had? And then my mind goes to all the places that it shouldn't, like feeling rejected. Like I wasn't good enough to stay for. Like I wonder what people are thinking. Do they blame me? I think they probably do blame me because I haven't even heard from half our friends.
My best friend committed suicide died by suicide. It's weird that I didn't know until now that you're not supposed to say committed. And of course it makes total sense, it's not a crime. But it's weird that you can be so oblivious to something until it affects you. And the one question I want answered is never going to be answered. Why? And why I feel so guilty that I miss the signs. It's all I can think about. What did I miss? What was so bad that the only answer was to die? I don't know how life's ever going to be the same again. Well, that sounded stupid. Of course it's never going to be the same again. My best friend in the entire world is gone and we're never going to laugh until we cry again. We're never going to make stupid TikToks that only we think are funny and we're never going to... We're never going to do anything again. I guess what I mean is, will I ever not feel like this? Like there is a huge weight on me? Will I ever wake up and not be this sad? Why did I not know how bad things were? Was it my fault? Was I so preoccupied in my own life that I wasn't available? Some best friend I was.
So, here we are. I can't believe this is what my life is. These things happen to other people. I don't know what you want me to say. I can't tell you that I saw this coming. How do you make sense out of something that makes no sense? My son was the one who always lit up a room, always made everyone laugh. Of all people, he was such a happy guy, or so I thought. So what are you supposed to do with that? And there's nothing you could have done. 1 minute, life is normal, and your kid is coming over on the weekends to do his washing, and the next minute, you don't have a kid. Well, not one that is alive. Why the hell didn't he tell me things were going so bad? I could have helped. I could have done something. And now, it's too late. How am I supposed to explain this to the guys at work or the guys at the pub? They won't understand. I don't understand. I am so angry. I am angry that he is gone. Angry that he didn't tell me how bad it was. Most of all, I am angry at the world. Why wasn't it kinder to my boy?
Well, I don't really know what to say, to be honest. I don't really know if I should really be here telling my story. There's probably plenty of people who should be here more than me. It's not like I was a relation or even a close friend. What do you do with that? You know, like you knew someone, you liked them, you had the occasional conversation, sometimes hung out in a group because you were close friends with their close friends, but it's not like you spoke every day. So I don't really have any business feeling sad, really. Like, my role is to support my friend. They need my strength right now, and I need to help them get through their grief, but I don't know what to say. So I either say something stupid or I say nothing at all, and then I just sit there thinking, you idiot. And what are the right words? You know, are any words adequate when someone's lost to suicide? And I don't even know if that's the right thing to say, lost to suicide. I mean, I've Googled it. Some sites say to use it, other sites say not to, and I want to be saying the right thing. It's just really hard. The other thing is I can't work out why I'm feeling so down, because I shouldn't be. I mean, I have no right to fall apart when the people around me have lost someone so dear to them.
Time is such a weird thing now. 4 months doesn't seem that long when you think about the conversations you had, and they seem so recent. But then on the other hand, the days seem to drag on endlessly. It's like the rest of the world keep moving forward and I'm here stuck in the same spot. Stuck in the same nightmare. It's like Groundhog Day. I wake up and go through the same torture every day. It's the stupid stuff people say that gets to me, though. I get things like, it could be worse. It's just your best friend. It's not like it's a family member. I was going to call one of those services because I heard they support people after a suicide, but now I don't know if I should because maybe they're only for family members. Why are people so insensitive? Oh, and then there's the helpful comments like, time heals all wounds, or they're in a better place. I don't know if people don't think before they speak, they want to feel the silence, or they've never experienced a loss so they truly don't know what to say, but sometimes I just wish they'd say nothing. Although, sometimes that hurts just as much, because if they say nothing, it's like they're not even acknowledging my grief. The one that tops the cake, though, is the other day when my mum asked me why I was so down. Isn't it obvious? I said because my best friend took their life and I'm grieving. I'm so embarrassed and angry by her response. Her response when I said I was grieving was, still. After 4 months, my own mother not knowing why I still might be grieving. If she feels like that, does everyone else want to put a time limit on my grief? Am I supposed to just snap out of it and forget? Forget that sometimes I feel so sad and lonely that I can't breathe. That everything in life just seems so dull now that even when I laugh, it's never a real laugh, and usually I laugh to hold back the tears that are always trapped in the back of my throat. And I tried speaking to my doctor, but she just wants to put me on antidepressants. And I tried to say that I'm not depressed, I'm sad. I don't know, but she said I'm depressed because I don't enjoy anything in life anymore and because I sleep all the time. But I sleep because missing someone so much is exhausting.
Going back to work has helped. It gives me some routine. I think I needed that. The only routine I can't get into is sleep. I don't think I've slept properly since that day. Even when I try to get an early night, I toss and turn and my mind won't shut down. I got in the habit of having a few drinks before bed so that I could go to sleep. Trouble is, a few turned into a few more, and I was waking up feeling so hungover I couldn't go to work. So I figured it was better to go to work tired than hungover. Because I operate heavy machinery, it's probably not good to be tired either. Some days I'm operating on 3 hours sleep. I know I can't keep this up and I have to get a hold of it. It's been a while, so my mates have stopped treating me like I have to be wrapped in cotton wool, which is good. They have been an awesome support. When this all happened, I was so frightened to even tell them. But once I did, I couldn't believe it. One of my mates who I'd known for years told me that his younger brother had taken his life 15 years ago. And if I ever needed to talk about it, he was there. Another mate told me his son had made an attempt a few years ago. And another friend said that he struggles with suicidal thoughts at times. They have been such an awesome support. They check in on me, make sure I'm getting out. I've never been invited fishing so much in my life. I don't have the heart to tell them that I hate fishing. Once they tell me their stories, we don't talk about it anymore. But it's great to know that I could if I wanted to. My doctor was good too. He gave me the time I needed off work. And when I told him I didn't want to see a counselor, he was cool with that. He said he trusted my judgment. I did have to go through all this stuff and get rid of it all, though. I couldn't see it here day in, day out. It was a reminder that he was never walking through that door again. He was never going to walk in, go to the fridge, open it, and say, "Man, I'm starving." Oh, what I wouldn't give to feed him anything he wants. Just one more time.
People are probably getting sick of me posting on my social media about it, but I don't really care. Well, I do, but I'm not going to stop. I do it to get my own head around it. I do it because I don't want people to forget a beautiful life and forget that this is with me every single day. I also do it because I couldn't save my partner. I want to make more people aware, and that might save someone else's partner. I am so sick of people not wanting to talk about this, and I refuse to put away our photos so that other people can feel more comfortable when they visit. When people ask me if I've gone through the wardrobe and gotten rid of the reminders, I used to get angry and go into this long speech about how I wanted to be reminded of our love and that I had no intention of throwing anything away. It was exhausting, and lately I've learnt to conserve some energy and that I don't owe anyone an explanation. So now I either say no, or I'm even more blunt and say it's none of their business. The one good thing about grief is you can be as honest and blunt as you like, even rude, and then blame the grief. I'm not sure how long I'll get away with it, but I'm not going to be stopping anytime soon. I do a lot of research on the internet. I think I've read every article written in the last 10 years about suicide bereavement or suicide prevention. I refuse to let this pain that I'm feeling be for nothing. And if I can stop even one person from going through this, then I will. I think that I have a grip on it all, and then something else happens and I'm back to feeling like I did in those early days. It's like a roller coaster. 1 minute you're up and then the next you plummet down. I had to fill out a form and I got to the part where it asked what your relationship status is, and I came undone. There was a box for partnered and in a relationship. But there wasn't a box for what I could tick now. There was a box for widowed. So I asked the person behind the counter if I should tick that, but she said it didn't apply because we weren't married. She suggested there was a box for single that I should tick. So there I was, tears streaming down my face, trying to explain that I'm not single. Single, it feels like a choice. Like you weren't fully in love with someone who loved you, but they happened to be dead. People must have thought I was crazy, but I couldn't help it. I tried to get through to the end of the form, and I got to the part where you have to list your next of kin. I ran out and sat in my car sobbing for an hour until I could get myself under control enough to drive home.
If I say that supporting someone who's lost someone to suicide is hard and emotionally draining, it makes me sound selfish. And if I say I've been impacted by the death, people think I'm weird because we were casual friends and not close friends. I mean, so many people have it worse than I do, and yet they seem to be coping while I'm falling apart. Why do they seem to have it more together than I do, you know? I try to hide my feelings so no one knows. It's like I put on this mask so that it looks like I'm my usual positive self. My daily life isn't changed by the loss, so why is it that when I go home at night, all I can think about is how sad it is that a life has ended and my life just keeps going. I try to keep myself busy so I don't have time to think. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I find my mind wandering, and when I snap back to reality, an hour could have passed. I tried meditation. It worked for a bit, but yeah, my mind just kept wandering and I kept falling asleep. It goes to show how delicate life is and how hard life can be. Like the other night, I was sitting there feeling guilty because I shouldn't be feeling so down about it all, and annoyed because I shouldn't be feeling so impacted. And I realized something. I realized that I got it. Like, I got how someone could feel that low, could be in so much pain that they felt the only way to relieve that pain would be to end their life. Now that I say that, I know it might sound like I'm suicidal. I'm not. Well, I don't think I am, but sorry, no, I'm not. Like, I know I don't want to die, but there was a time a few years ago when I had no work and I'd just broken up with my girlfriend, and I was just tired of feeling so defeated, and I couldn't see how life was going to get any better. And it did feel like a physical pain that was quite unbearable. And I mean, thankfully it didn't last. I had some great support, some great friends at the gym that I went to, and I just, maybe that's why I feel so sad, you know, that I knew someone who felt that bad but wasn't able to find a way to get to a better place.
When your kids are younger, you think about what they're going to be when they get older, like a doctor or an engineer. But if I could go back, I would wish that my kids were happy and alive. That would have been enough. But you can't go back, can you? And my son, of all people, would have wanted me to be, as he would say, living my best life. And he would have been embarrassed that his old man used that term. My doctor put me in touch with this local support agency, and they offered to come out to the house. And I thought, here we go. They're going to want me to talk about my feelings, and I can tell you that was not going to happen. But it wasn't like that at all, though. I spent most of the time telling them stories. I wanted them to know who he was, what a comedian he could be, that he was more than just his death. It was really good, though. I mean, I know that it's what they do for a living, but it seemed like they really did understand. Oh, I am going on. And if he were here right now, he would say, "You got on soft, Dad? Talking about your feelings? Next, you're going to want to dance in the rain." I wonder what he would have thought, knowing that I've signed up to go along to the local men's walk. But maybe if I had done that when he was alive, maybe it would have showed him that it was okay to talk about things, and he wouldn't have. But as he always said, I shouldn't look back. So I'm not going to talk about what ifs.
So I got to talk to a psychologist, which I always thought was for other people, but it's made so many things so much clearer. Being able to talk to someone who didn't know me, who didn't know all the people that I knew, was just so good. I offloaded everything. I even said things I didn't know I was thinking until they were out of my mouth. And just being able to get everything out made me feel lighter. She also made me realize that that everyone has a right to grieve, and that I needed to give myself permission to grieve and to feel sad. And she's validated my thoughts about everything, and it's changed the way I think about everything. The strange thing is I was trying to hold it all in because I wanted to be able to support my friend, but obviously I can support her so much better now that I've dealt with my own feelings. And it has made all the difference. I've gone back to the gym again, which I'm loving. I haven't tried meditation again. I don't really think it's for me, but I guess we all try things and we want to find something to help. And this has made me realize how important talking can be. I'm even thinking of studying something like counseling. I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to rush into it like I did the meditation, but yeah, it's at least sparked an interest in the field, and I guess it'd be good for something good to come out of something so tragic.
So I rang standby. They were great. They assured me that they support anyone who has been bereaved or impacted by suicide. It was good to talk to them and get some things sorted out in my head. They offered to come by the house, but I don't think I'll take that. I think I got enough from the phone call. And they said they'd call again in a couple of months to check in, which is cool. The one thing I got from the phone call, though, was that I'm not as screwed up as I thought I was. I was just feeling like things weren't getting any better and that I felt as devastated and as low as I did at the start. But when I think about the things I'm doing now and that I can laugh at the memories without crying uncontrollably, it showed me that there is a glimmer of light. I know that I'll never get over this like my mother seems to think I should, but I'll get through it. Time doesn't heal all wounds, but it does make it easier to bear. Because, well, now I can see friends laughing at their in-jokes and not want to cry or punch them in the face, so I guess that's progress. I started watching some of her old TikToks the other night and ended up crying so much that I called Lifeline. They were able to help me calm myself down, and I realised that maybe it was a bit too soon to watch them, but I would one day. And one day I would laugh at them. But I don't have to rush that. One day can be whenever I'm ready.
I swear, if one more person tells me that I'm young and I will find love again, I'm not going to be responsible for my actions. What gives people the right to comment on your life like they're suddenly experts? And it's not even people close to me. Some teller at the bank told me that. I mean, clearly it's time for me to change banks. And it's not only comments like this. People want to give me advice on everything. The amount of times that I've wanted to scream, I lost my partner, not my intelligence. I think that people have found themselves getting used to these comments or this misguided advice by now, but I always did things out of order. So I think having the energy to get mad is actually a step forward. Before, all my energy was used crying, so having the energy to find someone irritating is progress. But maybe I should keep some of it to myself, otherwise I'm going to find I have no one willing left to speak to me. Still post heaps on my socials, but then again I always did, so nothing different there. Well, maybe the content's different, but then again, I'm different. I think that has been the hardest thing for me to get my head around. My life is different now. My life will never be the same. And all those hopes and dreams that we had as a couple are never going to happen. So I need to make some new hopes and dreams. That'll take some time.
I do know Jack would have loved this. He always had a fear of missing out.
FOMO. He sure did. I remember that time for formal and I was getting a spray tan and he got one too. But if Jack was here, he wouldn't have gotten a word in.
He would have been in the middle of it all with that huge smile of his.
Hey, thanks for letting me be a part of this, guys. I really appreciate it.
Of course, mate. Jack would have loved that you cared enough to come.
He always really liked you.
Jack really loved everyone, didn't he?
He sure did. Remember that time he made us do that flash mob?
Oh, yes! And we had to wear like banana suits?
Yeah, he literally rocked up at my house at 2 a.m. the night before. I was like, I need more people. Do you want to join?
I don't know any dance steps, so that was terrible. Never thought I'd see myself dancing. Hi, I'm Matt Young, and I play Rick. I'm a professional actor, and when Joe asked me to be a part of this, I was really thrilled. I have a lived experience of suicide bereavement. My brother died in 2010, and even though it was 11 years ago, sometimes it seems like it was only yesterday. Yeah, Rick and I are actually quite different. Rick's a lot more stoic than I am, I guess, a lot more covers his emotions, and I'm someone who likes to really express myself.
Hey, I'm Sarah McNally. I'm a professional actor and I'm a recent graduate from the Queensland Conservatorium. In this project, I play Shay. I was excited to be part of the project because I have a lived experience. One of my friends passed by suicide when I was 16. It has been an interesting process, but I'm super different from Shay because I don't post on social media every day.
Hello, my name is Davis Dingle. I'm an actor based up in Brizzy, and I played the role of Dan in Joe Langford's wonderful project, which you just saw, called Impact. It's touching on some really heavy topics and some really important topics, suicide postvention alongside Standby, the company. It has been an absolute honour to work with Standby. Suicide postvention is something I feel really passionate about. I've seen it affect people's lives firsthand. Thankfully, I haven't had lived experience myself of losing a close contact, but I've had friends who've lost relatives, who've lost close friends, and being able to learn more about suicide postvention, how to help them and what it's like has been really brilliant. Joe and the team have been fantastic. She's given us support, had people reach out to us from Standby, making sure we're all okay, making sure we're in a great headspace, and it's been really brilliant. Dan, the character that I play, goes on a really interesting journey, which I quite loved because I attached to it immediately. It was this character who has friends who have lost someone, which is the similarity to me that I could really connect with. But then it was also quite different because he starts off very ignorant, not understanding why he's feeling so upset and really not. He has to go through the journey that many people go through of knowing, and it's okay to grieve. It doesn't matter if I didn't know them directly. I can still feel that way. I'm allowed to feel sad. And I think that's the part I didn't quite grasp because my mum was a therapist. So it was drilled into me at a really early age that it's okay to talk about your feelings, got to get it out there. But it's a really important message, and I'm really honoured to be part of the project. So hope you guys enjoyed.
Hi, my name's Drew McLean and I'm playing Nat in Impact. I recently graduated my acting degree from the Central Queensland Conservatorium of Music, and I'm now working professionally in and around Brisbane as an actor. I was really drawn to this project as I have a lived experience in suicide bereavement. I lost my stepdad to suicide when I was 14. I really enjoyed playing the role of Nat and exploring her journey with grief, as it is quite different to mine. I had a great support system from my family throughout my grief that Nat seems to lack.
So I was asked the question because Rick talks about getting in the habit of drinking and, and what that relationship was. And it's a great question. I mean, I was really affected, after my brother's death. There was that time where I think I wanted to numb my emotions. And so sometimes I was drinking more than I normally would in my regular life. And, even I didn't miss work because of it, like Rick says that he did. But, there were times that I definitely woke up hungover and probably could have taken a day off work. And I mean, I guess similarly, I can't think of the time frame about that. But I think it's something that happens a lot in bereavement is that people look to different things, like, for example, alcohol. It's so accessible, and especially if you're used to having a beer to finish the day or to take the edge off. And so for a little while, I mean, I'm safe, but it was something that was a little bit out of my regular habit. And eventually, through time and through just acknowledging that this was unsustainable, I readjusted my relationship to alcohol.
I was asked if having a lived experience has changed me as a performer, and sadly, I actually think it does. Having experienced grief gives you like a wider range of emotions to draw from. And because it happened when I was so young, I was a young actor that had experienced like the real depths of emotion. So it sort of opened up more characters that I could do, but also made it like strange, like put you in a strange position where you've got something in your private life that is so personal, but you can use it in your professional life.
So I was asked if being the only actor in the show who doesn't have a direct lived experience of suicide bereavement? Did that put me at a disadvantage in the process? The short answer is no. I think I was really lucky in that when I auditioned for Jo, I think she pretty much wrote this part for me. It's very similar to my own experience in that Dan doesn't have a direct connection to Jack. He's a friend of Jack's, or he's a good friend of Jack's partner. So it was more of an indirect impact. So, you see your friends, you see your friend go through this loss. And that was very similar to my own experience. I have friends who have lost relatives and close friends as well. So I was able to immediately grasp onto Dan and know what that felt like and know how to portray it. But it was, the one challenging thing was sitting in the room with 3 other people who did have lived experience, who then had to talk about having lived experience with their characters and having to watch them. I know they were acting, but they're good actors. So having to watch them go through that every rehearsal was a little challenging. But as said before, Jo had some fantastic support for us and reached out, had some standby people reach out to us. So it was pretty easy. So no, I don't think it was a challenge grabbing onto Dan, but it was certainly a heavy play.
The question I was asked was the challenges I faced having lost someone to suicide at a young age. I found it hard being at that age as a kid or a teen. I think people at that age were fascinated by the idea of how someone passed away. So in the early days when I was asked, I told them that my stepdad took his life, and then there was that uncomfortable or awkward feeling, and then people chose not to speak to me. So then I decided from early on that I wasn't going to speak about it anymore, just so that everyone could be comfortable. But I not only stopped speaking about him passing away to suicide, but I stopped talking about him in general, which was hard with kids talking about their parents and doing something with their dad on the weekend. And I wanted to bring up a time that I had done that with mine, but I didn't, because it made everyone else uncomfortable and me uncomfortable in the time as well. So it isn't really until since the last few years that I've been an adult that I felt I can talk about him freely and that he passed away to suicide. And I think that's why this project is so important and dear to my heart.